try something that I've tried before and failed at horribly. Thinning Bondo. Thinning Bondo out is a technique used for smoother passes. It takes a lot of air bubbles out of the thickness of Bondo right out of the can. I attempted it before with isopropyl alcohol, failed horribly. It said you could use it, but it wasn't recommended. I did some research and watched some old timers on YouTube, and they had used lacquer thinner. But the more research I did, the lacquer thinner attacks the parts in the epoxy, since it's a two-part setup, and they recommended to use acetone. Today I've got some clean strip acetone here, and some regular Bondo, and some paddles that I've had, or that I've needed for a really, really long time. So let me get set up here and find a good palette to spread some of this out on.
Alright, so I'm using a little Durablock here. It's a handy little booger, and I'm just gonna try to expose these dents above the door handle here and just make them more defined, feeling to the touch. Using this marker here to let myself know where the edge of the dent starts and stops. Also using my little wire brush here to dislodge a lot of the debris that builds up on the sandpaper. Not doing it real hard, but you know, just enough to get everything dislodged. And this little mouse sander that I'm using here has been really handy. It's not really a like auto body type of sander, but it really comes in play. Alright, now this next little sanding block that I'm using is a foam block. It's meant for drywall, but it works really good, so that way you can feel the highs and lows. It really helps you feel the highs and lows. It's really odd. Now, it's not really used for making a panel really straight, but it just helps you feel it. And right here, I'm just using a little bit of that acetone to prep the surface and get the dust off of it, so that way the Bondo can adhere to it.
It's really weird. Alright, let's go try our hand at mixing this Bondo up. Alright, now that I got my paletting board, that's what I call it, I'm going to go ahead and open up these paddles here. And just a forewarning, if you're ever using any type of mineral spirits or any type of solvents or anything like that, be sure to not throw them in your normal trash can in your garage or shop, because they can spontaneously combust. And that makes for a bad time. And they really make sure you can't get into these bad boys. There we go. Put my purse down. So, let's see here. Well, looking over here at that, I think the medium paddle is probably going to do the trick. So, gonna get. All right. Take the lid off this. You'll find your hardener in there. So place that to the side. Go ahead and crack your lid open. In some cases, it sits on the shelf wherever you get it from, and it doesn't move a lot, so it might be separated a little bit. And it looks like this actual batch probably is not separated. As soon as you crack that lid open, you will instantly smell this stuff. If you're real sensitive to smells and stuff like that, you need to be in a well-ventilated area. I have a mask that I usually use, and I usually don't break it out until I'm actually putting it on or sanding it off. All right, so to mix this up, I've got an old file. This particular file, it's a good one, but it's just, I used it once before, I needed something, and it decided to become the candidate. And if you can get it in your grill, the more crooked, the better. So you don't want to. Okay, so you don't want to mix this stuff up super duper fast because you don't want to incorporate air into it. That's what we're trying to get rid of today is the air by mixing in the acetone and stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and start slowly mixing this up. Yeah, I was just kind of gently folding it over. And as you can see here on this file, that it really doesn't like to run. You can apply hardener to that, and you can, apply it to your vehicle, but what we're about to do today makes it so much easier. So go ahead and take that off now that that's mixed. And so what I do is I take the paddle that I'm not going to use, and I throw a little bit out here on the thing. I don't know exactly how much we're going to use, so yes. So now that that's all running down the side of the can, and I'm getting it all over my fingers, clean up the can a little bit, and I recommend putting the lid directly back on it. First things first. Make your little hammer, put it back on. So that way any dust, debris, anything like that gets in it, and that way you ain't got no issues. Okay, so now we can start adding our acetone. And let's see, we'll just kind of take it easy, do a little bit at first, see how it's going to act. We're just going to try to fold that in. And definitely tell already that the consistency is changing. I think we're going to add a little bit more. Seems to be acting much better, much more smoother. All right, maybe this may be a little too much, but I'm going to add a little more because I want it to be able to run off of my paddle here. I'd say it's getting close to the consistency we're looking for. Add a little more. A little better. I feel like that's a lot smoother than what it was when it came out of the can. So move this aside here so I can clean off this paddle here. All right. First things first. See, now I have not added the hardener in this yet, so this will stay the consistency for a minute that it is right now. All right, guys, this is the tricky part. This is where everybody wonders, how much hardener do I put? How much of this do I put? I put too much and it hardens up, it kicks too quick. Well, if you think you don't have enough, it's probably just right. So for what I'm doing, I'm gonna put just a little line in it. Maybe just a little here too. And I'm gonna put a little bit of acetone on my paddle, and I'm gonna mix this up. I'm gonna start piloting it. All right, add a little bit more acetone as we're going here. All right. Let's sit down here and spread our Bondo. Tons of air bubbles.
At this point, I am working it entirely too much. I had a good spread on it, and I should have just left it well enough alone and walked away. But I had to keep fooling with it.
I usually don't do it in a well-ventilated area because I'm not usually around a well-ventilated area, but I'm also done them too. So. All that knocked off. Time to clean this paddle up. Now I wouldn't recommend using carburetor cleaner or anything like that on these because it'll break down the rubber. And it'll contaminate them and crack them. In some cases, you can do this if it's set up enough. You can take your razor blade and run down it, but you got to be careful not to cut your paddle, because once you cut your paddle, it'll leave rough spots. want a nice true edge on your spreader. So overall, I feel like the acetone thinned it substantially, made it easier to spread. But as far as the air bubbles, I feel like that's something that I'm going to struggle with for a hot minute. All right, guys, I'll take you off the pod here. All right, guys, just kind of a overview of what we've done here. Spread some Bondo on that door. And what you couldn't see when I ran off the camera was that I spread a little bit on the top of this bed rail here. That's where I go with it. And I had another little dent right there that was in a previous video. And then I come down here and it had already started to kick and dry at this point. So I don't know what that's going to end up looking like. But I'm sure I'll sand it out. I've got my good guide coat down there on the floor and some good sandpaper. And gonna put my little fan on it and let it dry. So that pretty much sums it up for this video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna go inside and get something to eat. I'm starved. So I'll have another video coming out on sanding those spots on the door and the outcome of it. So just stay tuned, and as always, I appreciate everybody who tunes into the channel or just kind of finds my videos on YouTube. I will say that some of my early videos in the beginning were really sketchy and dumb, really hard to watch actually, but you know, they're slowly getting better in my opinion, and I don't know, I really enjoy what I do, and I really hope that some of the stuff that I post in my videos, excuse me, fumes are getting in my throat. I hope the stuff and the content of the videos that I post, I hope it really helps you all out. But if there's anything that you want to see or you want to see me make or anything like that, just comment on any of my other videos. And for anybody who has commented on an old video and I haven't gotten to it, I sincerely apologize. There was somebody who had messaged me on an older video and it was like 3 months old. I finally replied, but I'm still trying to figure out YouTube notifications and comments on certain videos and stuff like that, because I usually make a video and I let it set for a couple days. I don't babysit it. So with that being said, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you on the next episode of 12 Mile Garage. Thanks again.